Stop expecting that you're supposed to feel confident when you haven't been willing to feel courage. Hey, welcome to another video. The audio for this clip was really bad, so I am doing voiceover. I'm going to be talking about how to be confident in your art while I paint my girl. I think what most of us want the most with our art is to feel confident, right? Like if we could snap our fingers and have our art be 10 years ahead, some of us would do that, would take that offer so that we can feel confident. But in the beginning of trying anything new though, confidence is not usually what we're feeling. For example, let's say we're trying to get better at hands. At first, hands can seem pretty complicated, right? It's got a bunch of lines and shapes, and it's kind of like a weird spider. And how many joints are there in a finger again while we're drawing? We're going to make hands that don't look very good at first. For most of us, we're not feeling so confident because we know what a hand looks like in our mind. We've seen it our entire life, but our images, the things that we create on paper, on a canvas, don't just look quite like it yet. This is where many people give up and think that drawing isn't for them because they don't think they have the capability. But here is the process of gaining confidence. I learned about this process from Dan Sullivan. Just want to give credit. He's an amazing coach, and he has a lot of amazing resources on his website called The Strategic Coach. It's called the 4 C's, where the last C is confidence, and it's the final destination, the one that we all want to get to. But here are the other C's that we need to go through in order to get to confidence. The first is committed. When you set out to do something new, the first thing you do is commit to it. This is the I'm going to learn this thing no matter what kind of commitment. This is what keeps you going even when failure occurs, right? It's like no matter what. This is the feeling for me that I attribute to me learning so quickly in school. I remember walking into Drawing 101 or Figure Drawing 110 or whatever in freshman year and feeling very committed to learning and absorbing knowledge and being really, really willing to apply the things that I learned and then fail. But I was willing to really try. I really paid attention to the principles being taught in class. My teacher would say something like, choose a focal point. Don't just copy what you see in front of you. Make decisions so it's clear where the eye should look. So I would go home and do the assignment, and I was really committed to applying and learning the concept and really kind of sticking it into my mind. The next C is courage. Us artists really need a lot of courage, right? That first mark is still really scary to me. We need courage to keep going even when we have no evidence or guarantee that things will work out, that we really could make another bad drawing, that we really could fail, right? That is why we need courage, is because we go into it with this faith, because we don't have any guarantee. I'm sorry, but the truth is we cannot be comfortable on the way to our goals. Everything is a leap of faith, and it requires courage. But in these leaps of faith, in trying, in the falling and getting back up again and learning from the fails, that is how we gain capability. That is the third C, capability. Now our brains is starting to be able to rely on capability of drawing hands instead of commitment and courage, which doesn't feel as good. Our brain loves this part. It's much, much nicer to rely on capability. It's much nicer to rely on things that we already know how to do. And then as we grow our capability and then we gain confidence, this, my friends, is how comfort zones are created. Now we're at the stage where we're pretty great at drawing hands. We might be able to do it without reference even. And it's totally fine and dandy and amazing if we wanted to stay in our comfort zones and enjoy feeling confident for a while. But for most humans, we don't usually tend to feel good staying in one place for very long, stagnating in our comfort zones. And then we go through the 4 C's once again to eventually become confident in drawing feet or something, right? For example, so stop expecting that you're supposed to feel confident when you haven't been willing to feel courage. Courage is something that we admire and revere in other people, but we aren't often willing to feel it ourselves. It's not comfortable. I've talked a lot in the past about how important it is to be willing to feel uncomfortable because avoiding our negative emotions is counterproductive, right? It actually hurts us to be unwilling to be uncomfortable. But the other very important reason to feel uncomfortable is the willingness to feel all these other amazing emotions like courage, determination, commitment, faith. These emotions don't actually feel that good, right? Like we like it. We think it's great and we think it's good, but they don't feel good. And we have to be willing to feel those things. However, you can feel confident in the beginning stages of trying something new in other ways. Like you can feel confident that you will eventually gain the capability, or you can feel confident in your effort, right? Or you can feel confident that you'll never give up, that you'll always get back up again. That's what I really relied on a lot in the past. Like, even though I didn't like my work, I was really confident in school assignments because I knew I was really going to try. I was confident that I wasn't going to give up, that I was going to really do my best work as possible. Like I would think about what can I do to make it better or something like that. Like I knew I would try my hardest. But to get that confidence where what you put down onto paper is what you see in your mind, the 4 C's is vital. You have to go through that beginning stage of commitment and courage and then capability to eventually be confident. And the more willing you are to experience this process, the better you are at it, and then your improvement really skyrockets. Now, some of you, though, have so much self-loathing, like me, where when you do get to capable, when you get to the place of being capable, you don't allow yourself to feel confident. This was really me for a really, really long time. And I had a huge spike in improvement in my work in 2018, last year, because I finally decided to trust in my capability and taste and the process that I love. That I had a process, that I didn't need to keep looking at more tutorials about how somebody else did it, what brushes somebody else used. I just decided to trust what my eye and my gut told me. And now I'm very confident in the work that I do, that I'm good at. I'm not confident in drawing cars, but if I do want to learn, there's the 4 C's for me. So how do you know if you're keeping yourself stuck in the capability stage where you're maybe capable, but you're not confident whatsoever? So how do you know? You know by if you procrastinate on making art, but when you do force yourself and either a deadline or something comes up and you have to do it, you usually make something you end up being happy with. It may take time and it may take finagling. It may take iterations. You might have to redo it, but you land somewhere where you think it looks good. That's when you know that you're capable in your eyes, right? And in what you can match with your mind, but you're just adding unnecessary drama on top of it, thinking that you're not good enough and you're just really scared to fail. And you're really this is when you're really tying your worth as an artist to whatever your art is. You can seriously skip all of this part and practice trusting yourself. I really repeated to myself a lot that sentence, whatever comes out of my hand is what I'm meant to make. I really repeated that a lot as I was drawing, and I just kept thinking and remembering it. Or if I could feel a rise in panic, because I'm starting to notice that oh God, it's not looking great. Oh God, my worth wants to be questioned. I practice thinking, I'm going to trust my eye. I'm going to let my eye do the work because I have been through the commitment and courage stage where I studied so many artists' work, or I did so many life studies, or I did so many practices. So I'm going to trust that my eye knows where to go from here. Or I would ask myself questions just like, okay, how can I make it better? You know, what do I know about the fundamentals, right? Like where focal point should be or composition. What do I remember about that stuff? What's going on? What's going on with this painting? What is it missing? What am I not having in here? Why doesn't it look good? And focusing on the painting and focusing on like what I think look good instead of focusing on like my worth and starting to go down like mind drama about like, oh, I'm not good enough. I'll never be good enough. I should know this stuff. If you're the opposite, where you're usually making things you don't really like all that much yet, or things just don't look quite like you imagined it, nothing has gone wrong here. All it means is that you're still in the commitment, courage part of the process. You have to stay committed and you still have to practice courage. That you just need to keep learning. It doesn't mean stop. It means totally to keep freaking going and learn. Don't just fail and then stop, right? Ask yourself, what can you do next time? Why didn't it look right? What did you take away from this? You're on the right path. Learning from your mistakes is what makes it fun, even when it's kind of sucking, even when you don't have the capability yet. Okay, that's what I have for you today. Thank you very, very, very much for listening. If you're interested in a breakthrough call where you want to take this to a deeper level, you want to apply it to your life, there's the link in the description. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.